Hey guys, I'm Jess and I'm here with Pastor Trevor Littleton, and we are sitting down and trying to answer some questions about who we are at Rise and what our goals are. So thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you for talking.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just dive right in. The first question is, who is Rise Church and what's our mission?
Rise Church is a new church here in Marion, and we are a church plant here in Marion. Our mission is change your story. So we believe that church should be all about life change. We think that the fundamental reason we're here is not to be a social club, but to be a movement that changes lives. Rise Church essentially is just the resurrection of Jesus, that you can rise over, if he was able to overcome death, that we can rise over any challenge in life. We can rise above things in marriage and in life and parenting and whatever circumstances or challenges that we face, that resurrection power, we are able to rise over anything because of Christ. So our mission is change your story. We think that a church should be changing lives. Excuse me. We think that Christ is able to still do today what he did 2,000 years ago. Our mission is also extended by 3 values, and that's rise up into new life with Christ, to rise out into the community and change a life, and to rise to the calling God has in store for your life. So that's pretty much all the nitty gritty stuff as far as who we are.
That's good. So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but formerly we were known as Celebration Christian Church. So why the name change? Like, what's the story behind the name Rise?
So we a lot. We had really been trying to think who are we in Marion? Like, what's our identity and what are we known for? And so we had been asking the question all along. If Celebration closed its doors, would anybody notice? So one by one, we would evaluate every ministry and everything that we were doing as a church. And one day we're sitting here just knee deep in changes that we needed to make. And I just really felt, I had been praying anyway, God, if we were a new church plant and we wanted to seize the entire town of Marion for Christ, how would we do it? And then I stopped to think, why can't we just do that? We were at a point in our life where, as a church, where we were a church plant, Celebration started in 2001, and it lasted from 2001 to 2018. We absolved the organization. But, it just really was. It was time for a new beginning, and it was time for something new. And we really felt to approach everything we do as a church plant strategically. Everything changes. How we just approach ministry and life, and it just all changed. So it was a necessary thing, because we thought at the end of the day, are we wanting to rework a church and to create a brand Celebration Christian Church, or do we just want to start all over from again and do the church the way from inception that we really feel God calling us to do, without apology? And we have. So,
good.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of changes happening since.
Just a couple.
So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on, what we can expect to change?
Oh boy. I'm trying to count what all we have changed. So for us, it all started like mid to late April. We told the congregation, highlight the day, May 13th is coming. And May 13th, we're going to have some really big announcements. And we started that off. We had everything in order and everything ready. We'd already made our switch to Rise on paper with the lovely state of Ohio and everything else there. We had everything ready to go, ready for launch. But if you're a church plant, you do things different. So you handle things as a soft launch, where the congregation knows what's going on, and you say, hey, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. But we have a lot of internal things to build. We have a lot of ministry to equip, a lot of stuff to teach and change. There's a lot of physical changes here in the building. Every single inch of this building has been readdressed in every ministry. So anyway, that was on May 13th. And so since then, we said it's going to take us probably 5.5, 6 months to really get everything ready to go out to the community. We're actually thankfully a little bit ahead of schedule with that, which is cool. But we just really knew from now until October 7th, we wanted to just work on crafting our ministry and doing that stuff there. So we have changed the physical exterior of our building. We've changed our parking lot. We've changed all the fun stuff like your logo stuff and all that jazz. But long beyond that, We've changed every inch of everything on the inside of the church. We've changed literally everything. We've hired a couple new guys. They're on the other side of the mic right now, making faces at me, calling my names here. But we've added new staff. We've just reappropriated pretty much every ministry that we have. Literally everything is different. I think we even changed the brand of toilet paper we have in the bathroom. Like I'm serious. We actually have even gone that far. So we've really covered every single inch of everything in the building.
Lots of exciting
I know
stuff.
details you really don't care about, but it's true.
I love the logo on the outside of the building and the one that's in here, by the way. I love it. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Very
It was
cool.
super hard to put up. So we're not quite done with it. We're doing that today. So if you see this video after the logo, just know it's super hard.
So what do you love about Rice Church, or what are some of your favorite things about Rice Church?
I love everything about the church. And I'm not saying that as cliche. The people here have been great. In seminary and everything, when you work on change and conflict management, and just big change and little change and everything else, you hear all these horror stories. And I've endured some of the horror stories over the years in ministry as well. I'm on year 20 now in ministry, and I've definitely been through some of that. But at the end of the day, this church, to throw the volume of change at them that we have, we literally sat up there on May 13th and said, hey, we're changing everything. We've absolved this church. We're now a new institution. Here's our new name. Here's our vision. Here's the additional churches we want to plant in other communities. And here's some of the other stuff that we're trying to do and accomplish. And to do all that stuff there has been great and unique. But the church has just rolled with it. The people of this church are amazing. Every single week, like right now, I probably shouldn't say this because we're on camera. But it's Wednesday night. It's later in the day. We've got our crew here doing this video. John, our worship pastor, just came in here to do some work. We've got folks here who are helping paint behind the scenes or later around the corner. We've got our new stage is being constructed. It's Wednesday night, and we've got a ton of people here just doing everything. Every day it's like that. We've got people here just helping, and we're kind of like, our theme has been all hands on deck, and we've had that. So the people here are amazing. And they're amazing because we all know our why, and we want to change lives, and we want to be a life-changing ministry. And so everybody knows, I'm painting walls, but we're doing this to prepare the church to get ready for something huge that's coming. Halfway through the summer here, we announced we're going to 2 services, and we've done that. Very good thing that we did that. It's a lot of work on the worship team. It's a lot of work on all of us, but at the end of the day, it paid off very well. The church totally rolled with that. And every single time we have to say, hey, guess what? We have another change. It's another week. I think the church is kind of like, well, we've got a culture change right now. It's all good. So that's been great. I love our worship. I love the freedom that we have in worship. And I love the passion that our team has together, the camaraderie that the worship team has together. I think our ministry team leaders and our staff here are good people. Yeah. Joe and Steve on the other side of the camera here, they're good to work with every day. I feel bad they have to work with me, but they're great to work with. But no, everything about the church, I love us very much. Did I answer that right? The question? Yeah. Are we good?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that actually, the 2 services, I think, has gone a lot better than what I thought it would.
It's gone a lot better than I thought it would too.
Yeah, it's exciting. That's good.
It's one of those things where honestly, it's like you feel God telling you we need to make changes, and you feel God telling you this is the direction I want you to go. And as a pastor, when you really feel a nudge and you feel God leading you in that direction, for you it's almost like, but God, I got to be the one to stand in front of everybody and tell them this is what we're doing. And with the name of the church and everything else there, you can hear our saw going in the background.
We have some construction going on.
Yes. Don't judge us for our mess, right? But no, when you hear this great stuff going on, and it's like, okay, God, I have to tell the congregation this. There's times as a leader where it's like, this is going to be terrifying because I have to answer a lot of questions and do this, and this decision might make people upset or frustrated. Nah, they're like, cool, we're changing our name. This is great. This is new vision. This is where God's leading us. And okay, now we have to accommodate growth with an additional service. Cool, and we're running with it. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so when you get ready for those things as a leader, it's like, where are we going to go with this? And every single part of it has just been very, very ordained by God. It's been very great to walk through this journey.
Yeah, it's been exciting. So I think we kind of already touched on this a little bit, but what does the future look like for Rise, short term and long term?
I wish I had my sunglasses because I pull like the cliche, like our future's so bright we have to wear shades, right? Short term is we're getting ready for fall. And school's back in session now. We've not yet done much to engage the community, but that's changing. September's, well, I think we have 1 or 2 Sundays left here in August. So our next sermon series in September is called Live Your Love. And it's going to be a lot of just about our calling in life and being where God wants us to be and being a person of purpose in the church and in family and everything else there and how to fulfill God's calling in our life. But we're getting ready for fall, and we're just now starting to get in the community where we feel comfortable enough that we can do a service project. We've mobilized the troops. We've prepared our congregation. So we've got a couple service projects lined up for September. I know one is a soup kitchen. I know we've got a couple things, hopefully with some prisons lined up here, and just a few other organizations. So we're just trying to mobilize the congregation to get out around town. So that's like short-term stuff, getting ready for fall, or just letting people know who Rise Church is. And we are that new church on Smeltzer Road down there, and just getting the word out there. That's short-term. Long-term, we want to change a lot of lives, not by the hundreds, but by the thousands and the high thousands. We want to get the message of hope that needs to be shared out there. And, if you're a congregation of people who believe in the resurrection of Christ and it is a life-changing thing and you have the ability to do that, then do that. And we want to mobilize the troops, and we want to prepare a church that when we're here on Sunday morning, we're here with family, we're worshiping together. But when we leave Sunday afternoon, we're not going to see each other next Sunday. We're going to see each other that afternoon, later in the week. We're going to be just sharing the message of hope. And getting that out there. So we really hope that we are building a ministry that can impact people at a very high volume. Everything from the way we do baptisms. We have a new baptistry tank that when we're done with this video, we're going to go buy. Some of that stuff is really great. But just a lot of great stuff. Great kids ministry stuff. A lot of great kids and family ministry stuff coming up. I know our team is behind the scenes just really just stripping away at our kids ministry. Building that up, a lot of wonderful stuff in fall with our orange curriculum, a lot of FX, community outreach type stuff for kids, all across the board. Great stuff with worship coming up. Looking forward to it very much. But I think our future, I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Like, it's already been bigger than what we thought. So to watch just this little bit happen, I'm really excited for what happens on the road.
Yeah. How can people get involved in what we're doing? I know we always need people in ministry. If someone is thinking, like, I want to get involved, but I don't know where to start, what can they do?
We're making it super simple. So when you walk into the church, look for the red wall. Everything involvement-wise for us is the red wall. And it started as a joke because everything in the church was white or brown or something to that effect. And honestly, we had extra red paint, so we thought this one spot would be cool just to paint it red and just to see what would work. And it's where we have our iPad kiosk, but everything in our red wall is essentially getting involved. So anybody who's interested in anything, we have people who are going to be staffed there and can walk everybody through it all. So to get involved is super easy. Just go to the red wall or ask us about our cookies, which is also a big thing here. So we have our cookies at the cafe, which is huge. But we have points of connection through the church. And so at the red wall, essentially, it is the place where we get connected, we get to meet people, we get to invite them to our VIP party, which is once a month for people who are new to the congregation. Come in, sit down, meet us, meet our team, meet our staff, have some cookies with everybody. And then about 10 days later, we have what's called Rise 101, and that's just a longer time. It's usually Tuesday nights. And we can alter that depending on who's there. But typically at Rise 101, what we have is it's just the history of our church, what we believe, our doctrine, our plans, our vision, our future. A really good opportunity for folks to ask us questions. Where are we with life and finance and ministry and vision and anything that can be thought of or asked. And then from there, we want to get people plugged into a group. So we have what we call a Rise 201 group, and it's a year-round small group. And it's just basically a sermon study and reflection group. And then from there, once we get connected there, we try to get people plugged into additional groups and service. And just kind of let nature take its course and let everybody get plugged in and build relationships and connections. So we're really trying hard to build points of connection with everybody here to really build a strong, just a warm environment. We already have one. The people here are great, but just to build on the foundation of what we already have. We're not the perfect church by any stretch of the imagination. And what we really try to coach our team with is we're not done. Just because we're getting close to our fall launch does not mean we're there. We've just laid the final brick of the foundation of what we're going to do. So after all this work and all this transformation, we take a deep breath and say, now it's time to get started. Yep. So that's where we're at. But no, to get involved, look for the red wall. Even we have an app coming out, our Rise Church app.
I'm excited.
So that's coming out here in the next couple weeks. So when it does, even in the app, there's a segment for the red wall. So the red wall is a big deal for us here at the church. And cookies are a big deal for us at the church. So ask us about our cookies.
So one more question.
Yes.
When people think about Rise Church, what do you want them to think of or remember?
I want them to think that's a place their life can change. I want them to think that's a place their story can change. If it's a marriage that's on the rocks, I want it to be that they met the power of Christ at that church, where their marriage turned around there. As a parent, they turned it around there. As just their life calling, where life changed for them being part of that church. That Rise Church is something that embodies the very power of the resurrection. And when we announced that change, we read the verse from Philippians 3, and it was, I want to know Christ and the power of his resurrection. And that's where we get our English word for dynamite, is the dunamis, that power there. And so if we're talking about the power of Christ's resurrection in life, my phone is ringing. But I have it on my watch, so we're all good, right? Not interrupted. I don't think this is going to get cut because we got a fluid thing here. But no, so the power of the resurrection, right? How do we harness the power of Christ's resurrection into everyday life? And I want our church to be predicated on the fact that we live every part of our life based on the power of Christ. We live in faith on the grace of Christ, so we don't hide from our pasts and our fears and stuff like that. And this is truly what it's like to be free in worship and to be free in church, but to just truly engage life change and rich just fellowship and community with other people, where it's like this is a place to belong, this is a place to thrive and to grow, and to be part of something that's very special and powerful. I'm glad to be part of it, but I hope that at the end of the day, I hope people who remember Rise Church remember that's a place where my life changed.
Amen. So I think that's all I have. Okay. People can follow you on Instagram, the Adoption Guy. Is that right?
Me personally, the Adoption Guy on Instagram. I hate Twitter, but I have one. I think I have like one post about Mario Kart like 3 years ago on my Twitter, but it's there. But so on Twitter, the Adoption Guy, Instagram, the Adoption Guy. I do have on Facebook. I have Trevor Littleton, author. They can follow Dr. Trevor Littleton. They can go on there and find me. Our handles for the church are Rise Church Ohio on Instagram, and then also Rise Church Worship. We have 2 Instagrams, so Rise Church Ohio, Rise Church Worship, and then also on Facebook, Rise Church Ohio. Look for it. Because as our master plan is, we want to develop our campus here in Marion as our main primary campus, but we also have part of our vision is in the next couple of years we want to branch out, and our goal is to plant 4 additional churches. So we start out, and that's one of the things where I think is really cool about Rise is we're not just a church, but we legitimately are a movement, which is super cool to kind of see how that's going nuts.
It is super
it's
cool
wild
stuff.
So it's like, okay, God, I'm just going to ride the wave, and we'll go.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Check us out on Facebook, and we hope to see you on Sunday.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.